started meeting friends up and down the bay, and all of them came. Now, I don't want to talk about any more about her life. I'm thinking people will fill in the blanks when we open it up. We're going to have family, we'll talk, and then after family talks, then we'll open it up to others who may want to share a memory or a thought or an idea. For the Y, she was a secretary at the high school, at YMCA. And they came to her one day and says, we need a ladies' exercise class. What did we call it back then? Calisthenics. Mom says, I know nothing about calisthenics. They say, that's fine. We need a calisthenics instructor. We want you to do it. So she taught calisthenics. She's probably one of the first Y instructors that were. They did travel. But it was funny. They made a trip, but then they said, what we're looking for, we have you on the beach. Why do we need to leave this? So they quit traveling. But they were able to go to England, Ireland, Spain, Canary Islands, spent their 50th anniversary cruising through the Panama Canal with Mom. I think everything. Dad did spoil Mom. And then it felt like it was my turn to do the spoiling. And we tried to take care of her and make her comfortable. Her wish, her desire was to stay here. And she would sit every morning in that window up there in her favorite chair and say, I love this place. It's beautiful. Can't argue with that. She probably loved it.
But in her late 80s, I took her, she said it was her first pedicure. She loved U Village. We'd go spend days just wandering around U Village. So I'm like, we're gonna go get a pedicure. And we sat down and they're soaking our feet, and the lady took a look at Grandma's feet and said, you soak a long time. And we started on my pedicure and doing it, and Grandma looked at me and she's like, I think they forgot about me. I said, no, Grandma, you've got tough feet. She's like, well, how long does it take to soak 80 years worth? And I just laughed, and we just sat there and laughed, and they came back and they were just like, sorry. And they just tried to work on her feet. But she was so funny, and she was so social and personable. I took her to a Sounders game, and she got to meet some of the players in the garage, and they all came up and were so impressed. And she's like, my first game, I'm 94. Like, did you like it? She's like, I don't know what you did, but you were good. And she invited them down to the beach to share what she loved, and it was so great to be able to share my grandma with my friends, and I will always miss her. But I always will have those memories of just the laughter and the joy and the love that she shared with me. Sweet.
Hughes's. Kenny was the one that really did the instrumental of all of, and Zelnak was the electrician. So he did the wiring and everything. So there's many memories about being down here. With Jenny, she and I sometimes would go, before school started, we'd go to Port Townsend, and she would get her school attire for the new year. I got the hand-me-downs. So I remember her saying about my mom, her sister, that at home, Jenny was a good cook. There's a few cooks that I could just love, and that Jenny's one. Mona is a good one, and Pete and Kathy's mom, Pauline, yeah, was the other, and they
that changed with years.
Yeah.
Went downhill.
Well, mine too. It never was good to start with, but it's really getting bad. But anyway, she says, at home, when they were growing up, my mom would do the cleaning of the house, and she would do the cooking, because Amiga was outside doing the farming. And I said, how did that turn out? You know, how come? She says, well, because your mom was really fastidious about what she would do, and I was a lot quicker in the kitchen, so she got Grandma's talents and stuff. So that was really kind of neat. one of the fun things that we got to do with Ernie and Jenny was to go out to the VFW, and the C chords would be playing, and that is really her favorite piece that was played. And Gail would just put her whole heart into it, and Ernie and Jenny would just be out there just dancing, having a good time. And then we got to go up to the chicken coop, up to the barn, and so they'd be up there playing and having a great time. And then we would take a break and we'd go out to the car and have a few. And so we just really had a lot of fun with him. And I'll miss Jenny. And I'm also realizing I'm the last one in that particular line.
I'm there too. What cousin?
Yeah, that's true.
You and I on the left. I got one on the other side too.
Why?
I got one on the other side too, on my dad's side. One left.
Yeah. Okay, I feel much better. I feel better now. So leave before me.
So I'm her escort, but I can't walk up here and not say something about my grandmother. So when I heard about 6 weeks ago, I got the call that Grandma had passed away. I felt a little bit guilty at first because I really wasn't sad at that time. I was happy for her because she had lived an amazing life. She was blessed, and all I could hope is that everybody got to experience what she experienced in her life. And so at first I was like, she is in a better place. I am so happy for her. Because we all know her quality of life wasn't the best the last few years. And then I started to get sad because I started having all the memories come back. And I heard that this house was built, what did you say, 74? I don't remember a house not being here, and I was born in 72. So I only remember this place like this, and coming here multiple times. I remember summers growing up as a kid. Digging clams. I'll tell you just a couple quick stories where I tried to keep up with Grandpa digging clams. I was young and fit and active, and he would outdig me every single time. I could never figure out why. And Grandma came up to me one day and put her arms around my shoulder and said, "Don't worry. You probably won't see him the rest of the day. He is dead. But he will not lose to you." And I said, there's so many that I remember 4th of July's here, and campers and tents and kids sleeping under the bunks down here and everywhere. And those are my memories as a kid. My wife and my boys never got to meet my grandfather, but they all got to know Grandma Jenny, and that's important to me, and I know they appreciate it. And I've been all around the world. I've lived in South America. We've traveled all over. There's no place more beautiful than this place, and I'll always remember it and have these memories and enjoy it while we have it, because it's awesome. And that's what I would tell everybody, is just enjoy your life, live it to the fullest, and make memories. I'm going to hold her up.
I just wanted to share a couple stories. I'm not sure I'll put together, but to go along with Dominique. Where are you, Dominique? There you are. She was here for this event. I wasn't super close to my grandma growing up. She intimidated me. I was a little scared of her. So I was just kind of watched. But I stayed out here when I took a wilderness first responder course in Port Townsend, and I had frostbite on my toes, and then I had sunburn on them, and they were little sausages. And Grandma just sat there, and she looked, and she thought it was the funniest thing, and she just sat there and laughed at me, and she laughed at my toes, and her laughter, she just cracked up. "How did you do that to yourself, Janelle?" I'm like, I don't know. Living in the wilderness, and she and I bonded over my sausage toes. And that was the beginning of our real close relationship. And then after that, I come up here a lot with my husband now, Tyler, and we'd come and hang out with Grandma. And she said to me one day, when I told her we were engaged, and she said, you know, we've had so many parties here, but we've never had a wedding. How would you like to have your wedding here? I was floored that she would ask, and I just felt so thankful and so grateful. And so we had a beautiful wedding here, and afterwards she said, never doing that again.
Hey, to go with that, my wife and I got engaged here, and then that's what spurred on, though, well, we haven't had a wedding here. I'm like, no, Grandma, we're not getting married here. We'll let somebody else do that then.
And I got to see her last summer before we went back to Alaska, and she was kind of in and out of being aware. But the day I left, she came out of her bedroom and she said, hi, Janelle. And it just felt like she knew, and she said, are you going back to Alaska? Okay, I'll see you next summer. And I was really hoping that we'd see her, but I got to say goodbye, and she knew who I was, and I just felt really blessed to be able to have that moment.
When Maury and I were first married, they lived up in Port Angeles, and we came to the beach for 4th of July. I came from Utah. It was hot there. It was not hot here. I was in my coat. People were in their swimming suits out in the water, and I'm thinking they're crazy. And then we went. They took me out when it was really low tide, and we were hunting for gooey duck. I had never heard of gooey duck in my entire life, and I thought this has got to be a joke of some kind. But it wasn't. And I remember when we lived in Seattle, managing apartment complexes, and they used to come over and surprise us once in a while, like when we were first married, we didn't have a TV. They brought us over a TV so we'd have something in the house. We went skiing when Randy was 2 at White Pass with them. They thought, well, take turns watching Randy in the lodge so the rest of us could ski. We would never do that again. We've had... I'm trying to remember, I had a lot of things that was in also kind of a biography that I was doing with Genny. I kept trying to get Genny and Ernie to write that, so I'm glad there's something in writing of your personal history. It's a living document as long as you're alive. But it is so important for heritage, your ancestors, your generations to come, of what your life was like. And it's great to know that history of any family. And Genny, our children are 6 generations on this beach. Yeah. And so there are, well, I guess that makes Patty and Jerry's kids 6 generations also. Sorry. But it's important to be able to reminisce and to have those memories of what life was about. How hard it is, but yet how much there is of love. When Randy was in Chile on his mission, he couldn't understand how people could have nothing and be happy. And the thing of it is they didn't know anything but what they had. And frankly, this beach was almost nothing when it started out. They had the cabins and stuff way back when. But at the same time, it was built up with love from friends that coming and doing the work. I thought when we were going to go camping here, I didn't realize we were going to have running hot water, 2 refrigerators, a stove, a telephone down here. But it was always, everybody was welcome, or should have been welcome. If they weren't, then I don't know what to say. But it was so fun. We had great potlucks. Genny was great at cooking clam chowder. I mean, everybody knew that, to go out and dig clams. I remember Genny picking Dominique up at the airport, not the airport, the ferry dock, bringing her over because she wanted to earn some extra money, and the kids could come over and dig clams and earn extra money. So when she was finished and went I picked her up on the other side. She could hardly walk off the off.
No, I forgot something in the van, and Grandma said, "Run, run, go get it." And I'm like, and Grandma laughed at me hysterically, like laughing at your sausage toes. I'm in pain, dying, and she's just laughing. Sorry.
No, that's a memories, okay. But anyway, there's lots of fun and lots of love that came from when our children were born. They were able to come over here and spend time at the beach. We loved coming over here. This was our vacation. This was our vacation time. So there's just a lot here. I'm with my son on this. I was very happy that she was able to pass to the other side and be with Ernie and Maury. I know they're together on the other side. And I think that regardless of what one's personal beliefs or anything is that it is love that's important. And we do have those connections with those that have gone before us. And we need to learn from them, and we need to share it with our future generations, because it's interesting of what's going on in the world today. And they were great examples of being honest and truthful and caring, not only of family but of friends. And it's sad that they're both gone now, but at the same time, I'm so happy that I was part of the family.
Reiterate what everyone has said about Grandma's humor and her laughter. I didn't want to come up. I'm actually very happy for her. Because like everyone said, she didn't like getting old. And in fact, I moved to China 3 years ago. Somebody sent me a video. And it's Grandma saying, oh goodness, sorry. She said, it's hell to get old. And that was just her. She was a tough broad. She was a tough old bird. And I remember waking up one morning, and she was out in the water. She had a rope around a big log, and she was moving it down the water. She was 80. And I was like, Grandma, what are you doing? She's like, well, if I don't move it, it's going to ruin the boat dock. And I was like, Grandma, I can help. She's like, I got it. She's moving it down the bank. And I remember getting a phone call from Dad, or I was at home, and he's like, well, he goes, Grandma got hurt. And I was like, what happened? He said, well, she didn't want to wait for us to come put the Christmas lights up. She wanted to do it on her own. She fell from the second story down from the house.
From the deck.
From the deck. And no one was here, so she army crawled with broken hips to a phone, broken pelvis, to call 911 and have someone come get her. She was a tough old bird. And I loved her for it.
Hey, Benji, you came up.
I was trying not to come up. Peer pressure. But you know, it's tough when you actually lose people you love. It was tough with Grandpa Ernie. You always think back about the memories that you have, and there's nothing but good memories here across the board with everybody you meet. And there was always acceptance here. You're always welcome. They were very hospitable people. I think everywhere they went, they made friends, and always brought them back here. And so it's hard to see that part of life go away. As chapters close, other chapters open, and so it'll be hard to see her go. It was tough. So. But all the memories everybody's been talking about, I'm going to keep it short for her, but I'll echo everything that they've said. Her laughter was contagious. So.
I wanted to be as tan as Grandma. I was so, I'm like, oh, how do I get that tan? Oh, she'd lather me up with baby oil, suntan oil. We'd lay out here for hours reading her big JCPenney catalog. I'm paying for it now. Like her, I'll be getting it burned off every winter. I think the time though when I got, everybody's talking about her sense of humor, and I was so mad at her. We went skiing at Sun Valley, and she took Janelle and I up a run and let them go off with Grandpa, and I fell on my face, spun the whole way down on my stomach, and I'm bawling, and she's laughing so hard. She's like, I think I peed, and she couldn't even help me get up. And I was so mad at her. She was laughing so hard, watching me go down the mountain on my face.
But if it's funny, it's funny.
Right, and I think I got that from her, because I always laugh when people get hurt. But just the memories of, I don't know, this is us as kids, you know. Benji would hide, and we'd all try to find him, and it would be like, okay, we all get together, let's go swim. We can't find him. We'd just leave and go get in the water, or, you know, I'd step in manure, and these guys are laughing so hard, and I'm like, I got poop all over me.
In your jelly shoes.
In my jelly shoes, yes. I had to wear jelly shoes.
Well, we had all been through that.
Broke the bed.
We all took turns stepping in.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you wore jelly shoes. But anyway, that's, you know, I'm just glad she got to be at home, and I work in a nursing home, and I know I'll take care of my parents, because just being at home is what was special. So.
Did you guys write that down?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to know the rest.
We went on, now it's Elder Hospital, or was it Elder Hospital, now it's Road Scholar, whatever, for old people, okay? We went on this trip for old people. And Genny got she got to be the oldest person on the trip, became the absolute favorite of the guide. He just loved her. She got to ride in the front seat. The rest of us were relegated to the back. But we stayed in Chloride in Arizona. It is truly a dump. It is a dump. And the place we stayed at was horrible. It was horrible. Cecilia and I had a room, and Genny had a room. Genny went to open her window, and the window fell out. Cecilia and I went to pull the light switch, and of course the cord came off, so we couldn't do the light switch. But she had such a great time, because they had, in the evening, after we kayaked. That was what we did during this trip. We kayaked. And so at the end of the day, we'd come back to this horrid place, but it had a big sort of room, and there was dancing. She got to dance because everybody wanted to dance with Genny, because she was good, and she was just a very special person, and she, and she's here, and that's what's so terrific. She'll always be here with us.
Hi.
Share a birthday.
Sorry. Which we had yesterday. I would come out and hang out with her, and we'd have coffee, and just, I always told her she was super spoiled with her view, and she's like, come sit with me anytime you want. And we'd talk, and she would always tease me about this time I came to stay with her for a couple weeks before I went to summer camp. And I was sleeping downstairs in one of the rooms, and a groundhog had gotten under the bed, or a mole, and it was like, I don't know, 10 or 11, and Grandma went to bed early, and I was like, didn't know what to do, and I kind of creeped up and knocked lightly on her door and was like, Grandma, there's something under my bed. And I woke her up, and we went down there, and we saw little beady eyes, and I was just like calmly like, I don't know what to do. And she was shooing it out and cracking up, and all she would do is compare me to Danielle. And she's like, you're so quiet. Your sister would have been like, Grandma, get down here. And she always teased me about that one and that week, and we would go to the library and get books. That was one thing she installed in me, was the love of reading. And we'd lay around and read. And when I was out here, Maury had come out
and he was here for like the whole day. And I came up to get something. I was laying on the couch just right upstairs, and I came in, and he's like, "You've been here all day?" And they just got a huge laugh about how quiet I would just lay there. She's like, "This girl could just sit around and hide and hear everything." And they laughed about it for a long time. He couldn't believe I had been there that whole day. And it was a special week. It was me and her, and you guys were talking about memories. We had a lot of laughs. And it was fun because being the youngest, when everybody was out, I kind of just hid out. And so it was fun to have time with her. And slowly, over the years, she started letting me do her hair. And I promised I wouldn't make her purple. And it was nice. It was nice to see her and be close to her the last few years and spend some time with her. Yeah. She will be very missed.
Just about my best friend for many years. She started slipping away from me about 5 years ago. She started slipping away because she didn't remember things somehow and stuff. But she was a great mother-in-law. I don't ever remember her criticizing me ever. I think that's kind of unusual. My mother-in-law never. And she always told me how pretty I was. Even no matter what I was wearing, jammies or anything. "Oh, you're so pretty." I go, "Grandma, it's just my jammies." So, Genny, I called her Genny. It's just my jammies. And she was, anyway, I told Jerry nobody ever complimented me as much as she did, but he said, "That makes me sound bad." But it's the truth. She never complimented me as much as she did. So I will miss her, but she's in a better place. She was, as everybody said, her qualities. I said I'd be her caregiver as long as I could make her happy, and it was getting where I couldn't make her happy at all. So it was fun. Thank you, everybody, for being here to remember her.
I'd like to give a special thanks to Patty's sister, Linda, who, whenever we would go somewhere, she would willingly come up from Tenino and stay with my mom so that we could do a little trip, get away a little bit and around. And it's when we were in Las Vegas, we were going to come home that evening. She called and says, "I think you better get home. She's made a turn for the worse."
She did, but I have to tell you all that I was with her up until the end, and she was giggling up until the end. And she was talking to people. They say that happens, and she did. And she must have been talking to a lot of people that she loved and remembered. And she would say things, and then she'd go, like her laugh. And that smile. She had that smile to the very end. I just feel really honored that I got to be with her. And I learned a lot from her. And my sister said, "What did you learn?" And I said, "Well, patience, first off." But just to be happy, to love your surroundings, love the people that love you, and have a good time. And Genny has always known how to have a good time. And I've known her. I went to high school in Port Angeles, and when she was the secretary. And I missed a lot of school, because I didn't like to go to school. And so when you went back, you had to go to the secretary, and you had to take a note from your mother or father that it was okay. So I was scared to death of Genny, because she was pretty, you again. But I loved her. I loved her like my own family. And she was family. She'd always ask me, "Who are you?" Because she'd forget. And then she goes, "Oh, are you Patty?" "No, you're not Patty." But I said, she goes, "Well, what are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm your family." Not your immediate family, but she did. And towards the end, she would call me by the name. And she was just the sweetest woman. That's all I can say. Sweetest woman on earth.
Yeah, yes.
I had one more thing, which I kind of learned from both Genny and Ernie. is that they didn't like to argue. And any time Jenny would start to disagree with him or something, Ernie would always run up to her, give her a great big hug and say, I love you, and give her a kiss. And Jenny says, how can you fight about that?
We go back a little bit. He comes down here all the time and helps take down and put up this beach. We spend a lot of time. And Mom kept saying, why doesn't Mike come down here more? He does so much work. Why doesn't he come down? Well, here he is.
For love. I've thought about this moment for many years. And tried to figure out exactly why I keep coming back here. I got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in this place.
Literally.
Literally, and I can point out blood stains. I cannot remember the first time I met Genny D. Come on, can you remember when you were 4 years old? Jerry's brother Maury and my brother were the same age. I met Jerry and Genny and his family before I started school. From the time we were in first grade coming on, I have been coming down here for at least 60 years. The love is unbelievable. I'm at a loss for words, Meredith, which is hard for me. My brother's wife had passed away. My brother was lost. Genny called and said, come on down to the beach. You'll heal. My brother says, I'm not going. I said, you gotta go. She invited you. We pulled up here. My brother got out of the vehicle. I went and parked the vehicle. I got out of my vehicle. And I saw Genny, Maury, and Jerry hugging my brother. The healing was unbelievable. That healing power of this family. I'm not family. Go back a few years. I cannot complete the stories that I have with this family. It is the love and the next generation and the next generation. With Jenny's, I'm going to keep this short. With Jenny's being happy, and you should be happy. It all got summed up yesterday. Jerry and I were here and we got everything set. Jerry and I sat up on that swing up there and just looked over the beach. And I think it was Mila that brought the bear.
Brought the bear. It's still up there.
Mila brought the bear up and put it between Jerry and I. Jerry fluffed the bear up and said, you know, this was Mom's favorite bear. There's a picture on Facebook of Jerry and I sitting with the bear between us. And I took that as a sign that Genny said, be happy, I'm still with you, and knock it off. And I will cherish that photograph. And Patty, thank you for taking that photograph. That completed the circle for me. And I just, you know, I see Ron and Sean and Tuck Smith and Dean Reed and all of us, and Charlie. My memory of Charlie was the vehicle would pull up, and before it came to a stop, Charlie would be jumping out of the car, heading for the beach to go skiing. The one phrase that I have never heard here is, looks like we're running out of food. Never happened. This is my family. My family is all gone. And so having Genny has been a lot. We got to visit with her just before she passed. And we spent the day down here. And as we said goodbye, she said, love you, come back. We will. And Jerry, I gotta say thank you for sharing your family with me. I did.
My parents and Genny and Ernie were like this for a long time, along with Zeke and Mona and the beach. But once in the summer, we would all pack up those ugly little boats and go to Lake Ozette, which was the horror of my life because they drank For God's sakes, I was not old enough to have my parents drink in front of me and then try and get on those inner tubes and go around that bay. My mother actually lost her bathing suit out there. And all they did is all sit on the beach and laugh at her. I was so embarrassed I hid in the tent. But that's where it all started. And then we ended up down here, and my dad ended up building the house, and I don't know, more than half of my life was on this beach with everybody that's here. And you just can't forget any of that. Our kids, well, Linda brought her boyfriend down here, and we all ended up getting married. Then we all ended up getting married, and then we all ended up bringing our kids down here. I mean, this was the one and only place to be, and everybody knew it. And there was always enough food. Blackberry pie. Grandpa Ken picked the blackberries on the 4th of July. Grandma Ken, my mom, made the blackberry cobbler. I don't know who it was that made the ice cream. Old-fashioned way. With the ice cream maker and everything. And it was clams. It was everything you could imagine on the 4th of July.
4th of July would be, sometimes we'd have 100 people down here. Big cool.
She was the last of that whole era. She will be missed.
Yeah. What, 3 houses up?
2 houses up.
2 houses up. And so I grew up coming up here and spending time with my grandparents, and they had back then they had a party line, telephone line, so they shared the line with the Deans. And it was so funny because the phone rang all day, and it was very rarely for my grandparents. It rang a different way, and they just got a good laugh out of that. They're like, oh gosh, because my family's very small and quiet, and Bernie and Jenny always included us in things, and it was so nice to come down and to see, all these people coming together for different events, and it was just, our family has a lot of memories down here because of their, just how warm they were and inclusive and just a lot of fun. When Ernie was sick, I helped Jenny out by digging clams like Dominique did. I would come up on the weekends, and she and I kind of bonded during that time and really got to know her more as an adult, and that was really fun. And so we had this special bond over the years, and I often would come up by myself and stay at the property, and we would go out to dinner, or I'd stop by and visit, and she was just such a gem. I don't know, I just really love Jenny and the whole Dean family. I appreciate you always including us, and just really special people.
I remember years ago when Ernie had a Uniflight boat, my mom and dad had a Skagit boat that they bought in Lacona. And we all decided that we were going to go through Deception Pass. And these are 17-foot boats. So Dad and Ernie had talked it over that, we got to get up on a planer and we got to get going real fast because there's big whirlpools and stuff. And I remember going through Deception Pass. The Deans were in front of us, we were behind them, and we're not really going as fast as we probably should have been. And it's like Forrest Gump said, there goes my boat, because Ernie hit one of those whirlpools, and him and Genny were heading the other way. Jesus, what happened? But we made it. I remember times down here blowing fireworks off on the mud flats. Fingers, ears were gone. I remember when I built the house, we're putting in a plate glass window on the left side of the house. Dad's on the inside, I'm on the outside on scaffolding, and we had to move the window a 1/4 inch to make it centered. I took a steel chisel in the window, which is stupid, and I just a little bit, I turned it, and the whole window cracked out. So we spent a little more time down here building the house.
That was the free one, right?
Yeah. She will be missed.
Mother and father loved to come over and visit and stay at our cabin, which is the stuff that really And I kept hearing about all these fancy things and these parties, and sometimes we could even hear them. And if you knew my father, he was very, very proper and very quiet. And pretty soon he and Mom would come home and tell us what they had been doing. I said, what? And so that came down here with them one time, and they were in one of the bands.
One of the bands down here.
Yeah.
By the way, that last edition was added for the bands. The band would play under that last cover over there. So that's how that got there.
And then I found out what was really going on down here, and so that was fun. And then my husband and I built that place up there, and our children came and stayed around for a while, and we got well acquainted. And so it was I'll blame my mom and dad for getting me into this, but a better family and a support in so many things when being up here that you have been. And that mother of yours, I hope to see her play very soon. And it was fun, and this is a magic place, this beach, and everybody who comes up here, I think, would say that. And my kids who live all over the place in the world, this is home.
Thank you. Great niece. And basically I'm what everybody has said, my cousins have said about Genny and the memories. And I'm so grateful for Genny and Ernie to always open up their property for all of our gatherings. For the holidays, coming out here, I could not wait to come out here to see my cousins, my aunts and uncles, and extended family friends. I could not wait to see your family, Mona, everybody. They were so friendly and so hospitable and caring. I couldn't wait to see Mike. Every summer, come out here. Everybody, you felt like family to me. And I was so grateful when I had my daughter to bring her out here and share everything here that has to offer, all thanks to Genny and Ernie. It's been wonderful, wonderful. And I still love all you guys. And it's been a blessing. That's all I have to say. Oh, she's so flexible up until I think she got really ill. She'd be sitting cross-legged on a couch with her both legs up and crisscross applesauce. I'm like, I hope to God, when I get to your age, I can do that.
She had a stroke on. The strength was so strong on both sides, they couldn't tell what side was the stroke side. She definitely was. Patty used to like to call her sturdy. She was sturdy. Fall off the deck, still could crawl down here. Called 911, and then realized her dog was here, a German Shepherd, so then she calls a neighbor and says, come get the dog, because the dog's going to bite these guys if I yell. So she had the site to make arrangements after that.
With Century, when she was walking down crawling down the ground, she would periodically wake up because he was licking her face.
Oh,
He
you know
was
a little more
a
of the
hero.
story. So,
He was a hero.
So he kept her going.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. Wow. Yeah, when we have Century is up, ashes are up in the house too. We still have Century with us. Well, I'm going to say a prayer, but the prayer will also be for the food. So let's have a prayer. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for these memories. We know life is about memories, that we remember things, and help us with those memories to share with one another as a person lives on through memories. May we be able to share those.